Greetings, fellow tribesmen. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to the first episode of a new series covering Humanica. If you would like to skip the game's overview or the setup of this series, please use YouTube chapters. Humanica is an ancient settlement city builder where you take a small group of hunter-gatherers and form a collective community, striving towards technological and societal progress. Evolved from using simple stone tools all the way to the Iron Age, replete with complex agriculture, animal husbandry, colony defenses, and more. As per usual, this will be a mix of both Let's Play and tutorial. Let's start a new game. So, some of the other game difficulties are not in yet, but I'm going to be on normal, not peaceful. And we'll jump right in. I'm going to be leaving the in-game tutorial on. And it doesn't take very long to go through it. So here we go. It's also worth noting the maps are procedurally generated, so if you don't like your starting location at a new game, you can just create a new one. There is no seed, but every time you create a new one, you're like on a different map. And I am going to re-roll this because I have no idea where the water is. It actually looks like I'm on a hilltop, and I'd surprisingly like to be near water. So let's just re-roll real quick. And luckily, the map generation doesn't actually take very long. It's like just a few seconds. There we go. I see some water. Welcome to the Humanica. This game has been developed by a single developer over many years, carefully, thoughtfully, and with a lot of love. You're now playing an early access version. Would you like to turn on the tutorial tasks? Let's turn those on. You will manage a settlement of primitive people, build, assign work to people, hunt, gather resources, and develop technology to survive. Over time, you will learn how to grow food, raise animals, and produce bronze and iron tools. Tasks will be displayed behind my head, so I picked a really good spot for my head here, as you can see. But once we get through the tutorial, tasks won't actually be here. WASD, mouse wheel, zoom in, E and Q to rotate the camera, or alternatively, hold right mouse button to pan and middle mouse button to rotate. Pretty typical. Now, we must choose a place for our settlement. Almost all buildings in this game can be like destroyed, refunded, and moved. However, the caveat is the town center cannot. So you should choose your town center's location wisely as a result. And I am going to choose here. This is the building of this settlement. Settler management. You can select settlers by clicking or holding the left mouse button or right-clicking the right mouse button. You can command the settlers to do something like point to a gathering spot, etc., etc. So, select a settler and tell them, drag a frame around it. Done. Right mouse to make them move. Done. Right mouse to have them gather a heap of branches. Done. And deselect with escape. Done. Let me hide the overlay for this. Alright, you could also click the heap branch like this. Say, gather sticks. And then hit escape to deselect it. That's another way to collect resources. Then the gather food tool. Click the tool. And you can then drag on an apple tree. So there's one by the shoreline. And then escape to deselect. And you can speed it up 1, 3, 6 speed or pause. Like that. Alright. Right now we want to collect 10 cobblestones. Build 3 piles for resources, which will be the first warehouses, and build a bonfire so that the residents can cook and eat. Got it. Alright, music. Now that we're through the menu, back up. So if we hit X, X is gathering raw resources that are non-foods, and Z is gathering foods. So if we can see that there's berries here, apples here, more apples. So, you know, we're gathering food. Some of the foods, like the wheat here, or the, what are they, chestnuts there, acorns are like grayed out. That's because we don't have the technology level to do anything with them. So in order to collect the cobblestones, we just hit X. There's 4 of them here, another 4 of them there, and 12 over there, and we'll collect all of them. And then do the same thing for the branch heaps. And then with all of that done, click storage, resource piles, and we're going to create a resource pile for basic storage. So I'm going to create 1, 2, 3, holding left shift, and these will be the resource piles, and each one of these has a certain capacity, a storage quality, which is like decay rate. So like food or resources stored in poor quality resource piles will decay faster. How many slots of inventory and total capacity, and then priority of building. You can also, in this setting, choose what actually physically goes there, and then the settings can be copied and pasted onto other ones. So if you want to have all of your seeds stored in a few stockpiles and a cluster, that's fine. All your equipment, and so on and so forth, and we'll get into that in more detail later. All right. Silver9, thank you for the gifted subs. Wyland and Shield and Onyx and Space Cowboy for the resubs. And Dread and Jen. Cheers. Some other controls. At the moment, we have 6 people. All 6 are laborers, and they are homeless. You have happiness, which controls your immigration, how much food you have, chances of enemy attack, and prosperity. And we'll get into all of that in a lot more detail later. Also, Blood to Death, thank you for the gifted, the cheer. Words, yes, words have meaning. All right, in the top right, we have what is currently in the stockpile. So we started off with some pelts, cobblestones, sticks, and fruit. Some basic stuff there. And you can see the individual laborers collecting sticks, and now they're heading out to the resource stockpiles, and the construction for these is 2 sticks a piece. So we have collected the cobblestones, and we just need to create the piles for the resources, and then a bonfire. So the bonfire is where people gather to eat, and I'll put a bonfire right there. So now we're storing the apples and the berries in the stockpile, as well as the other stuff. And they all have like a durability. You can think of that as like rot. So there we go. We have all the piles. And now I'm going to high priority the bonfire so that is built as soon as they can. And Sashi, thank you for the resub too. 4 years, indeed. The construction timer is based on minutes of colonist work. But you can have multiple people contributing to this at once, so as you can see, this is ticking down by 2s. 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 1 minute, etc. because there's 2 people constructing it. Unlike a lot of games, you can actually have multiple people building stuff, which is brilliant. And there we go. That is the bonfire. So in the morning, people will cook and eat food, which will contribute to your prosperity. And we'll get into that again in a little bit. So next step, build housing. Settlers with housing will be happy. They can also be assigned a profession in the future. So, now the tutorial wants me to do a little basic hunting and also to build 4 primitive huts. So if I open up the housing tab, we have primitive huts here, and let's lay out 4 of them. How do I want to lay this out? Like that. And then let's also have these 2 people hunt a wild animal for the hunting tutorial. I honestly don't even see a wild animal around here at the moment. So I might have to wait until we explore a little bit more of the map, so I'm not going to worry about that. So each one of these houses is 4 sticks and a pelt. And then it wants me to populate these houses manually, and we'll get through that as soon as the houses are built. Lord Orion, thank you for the cheer. And Radlocker, too. Okay, so the first option for settlement. Select a settler and right-click on the hut. So, done. You live there now. The The next one, drag them onto the hut. Done. You live there now. Then we need more huts built to do the other options. But settlers don't work at night. You can press this big, beautiful button to skip the night. So settlers will sometimes finish their like current task a little bit if they're like in the process of building or whatever at the end of the night. But as you can see, all of my settlers are currently idle. So we can hit this button and it's tomorrow morning. Settlers are autonomous. They perform almost all work automatically. They take lying items to warehouses, gather marked resources, and construct buildings. You can set priorities for certain entities so that settler performs certain tasks sooner. Additionally, on the top right, you can see new notifications. So we have 7 settlers now. 1 decided to move in due to our happiness level. So our happiness is currently 30, which means there's a chance that 0 to 1 settlers move in. Now, generally speaking, they will only move in if there's housing available. But because this is the tutorial, it kind of ignores that requirement. All right, so these current huts cannot be built because we lack the sticks. So let's go ahead and grab these heaps of sticks so that we can finish the 2 remaining huts that we have left to do. And Double Dwarf, think of the resub. The tents look cool? They are in tents. That's where our people live. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take Vavina, and they are going to just start scouting out the map. This might also allow me to find an animal to hunt, so I can fulfill the hunting tutorial. And yes, groan all you want, it's never going to stop. They're not just dad jokes, they're rad jokes. And also maybe bad jokes. But that's the fad. So again, terrain is procedurally generated, so I have no idea what to find out here. Ooh, that's a lot of iron. Not any animals yet. I'm not worried, though. There will be. And now that we've collected all those sticks, there should be plenty of material to build the primitive huts that we have queued up. Good, I found some copper. That's going to be helpful later. Oh, and there's a wolf. And they are not hostile by default, so I don't necessarily need to immediately worry about the wolf, if you were wondering. Some wolves will be hostile. We'll get into, like, the combat later. Oh, interestingly, this tile is unexplorable because I can't scale these cliffs without additional technology, so I can't actually survey up there. But that's fine. So the wolves I found down there are definitely, undoubtedly, a bit too far for me to bother hunting. They're not anywhere close to the city center. So what I'm going to do with Vavina here is have them go eastward to the other corner. And what I'm trying to do is survey everything around me. I think it's very useful to know where your natural resources are, where your strategic resources are, etc., etc. That aside, Grabaro, you are going to go to the other corner, and we're looking for huntable animals close by. Oh, there's a bison, bison, and a boar, and a lot more copper, hella more copper. Lots more copper. Great, great, great. I love it. More boars. Hazel. Map is bigger than you thought it would be? Yes. I mean, there's also, like, the world, too. Okay, so the other ways to put people in houses, you click the house and you just hit plus. So we'll do that method for the last house, too. Hunting hut. Hunting can be automated. If you build the hunter's hut and assign hunters, they will harvest the meat themselves. They do work in a vicinity, so it is... Where did Vavina go? It is ideal to put hunter's hut where you see like a bunch of animals, and also with Vavina I accidentally clicked on this stuff. So if I wanted to cancel that, I could just say cancel gathering, with this cancel gathering tool, which is actually brand new. It got added today. Okay. Now you. Where are... Okay, you're there. Let's have you start going west. And we will soon decide on what to hunt. So I've got about 3 days of food. And we have 7 people and only 4 tents. So I'm going to get some additional tents here. It's also worth noting, campfires roughly can feed 8. So once our population exceeds 8, we're going to want probably another one. But our land survey is going pretty well. So we have this southern river with clay and bison, lots of copper on the south coast, and iron. To the northeast, there's sort of like flat plains and plains rather, and a bit of a plateau. So we're kind of in a valley, but that can work to our advantage. I think that's fine. And at the end of the day, our explorers will cease to explore. I mean, they don't explore at night. So they will automatically stop what they're doing and return back to town center. So in order to push the tutorial ahead, I might end up just finding a less than ideal hunting target, because there doesn't seem to be animals right in my own backyard. Which, with all of the, like, playtests that I've done, is actually pretty unusual. Normally there's, like, animals right up against the colony, but not always. There we go. We have got a nice Z for, I don't know, for cartography's sake. Okay, settlers don't work at night. So now, as you can see, I can't issue orders, and they're going to be automatically returning back to the town center. Fortunately, that also means that they're going to explore on the way there, so it actually benefits me to some degree or another. Alright, new morning. We do have 4 more pelts, or 6 total. Settlers are slow, so you can use time 6 to do time acceleration. Yes, copy that. And once this person eats for the morning, there we go, I'm going to have them head out. Oh, good, there are boar right here. Perfect. Okay, so you... 2, 1, 2, holding left shift, 3, go hunt boar. Then we wait for the settlers to kill the target, and then they will butcher it automatically. I don't really need to automate that part at all. There we go. Get him! Here, piggy, piggy, piggy. Stab it! Stab it with your little stone tools. We're gonna make him take a nap. Sorry, can't help it. Uh-oh! Enemy is approaching. This settlement is under attack. In order for settlers to attack, select them and right mouse button on the enemy. And they will fight. There's also this button here, to battle. And the to battle button will tell all of your settlers to head to wherever you store your equipment. Get the best weapons and armor that is available to them. If they are assigned to, like, watchtowers, they'll grab a bow instead. It's all automated. And then gather at the town hall to defend your settlement. So let's hit the to battle. Now, one thing that will happen during to battle is if you have hunters that are, like, dragging a carcass back to town, they won't stop what they're working on. So if they're physically endangered as a result, you might need to intervene. But this looks like a bunch of predators. So here we go. I hit the to battle button. And we have all of our settlers with, like, wooden clubs ready to go clubbing. Now, I could venture out and go intercept them. There happen to be rabid wolves, but, like, if I'm to butcher the rabid wolves for meat, I'd rather the wolves come to me. I don't want to go to them, because then I have to drag their bodies all the way back to town. And then if I had gates for the town, we could open and close the gates automatically with these buttons. So if you have multiple gates, that's really helpful. It's raid time. And done. And as you can see, if we click on the carcasses, they can be butchered for pelts. Well, in this case, just raw meat and bones, which is good for bone tools and the like. Where did the boar go? Oh, here it is. So I'm going to hit the butcher button just so that they don't forget to do that, because we killed it, but then we were interrupted. Resource production. In the game, you will need to craft various resources in special producing building. You can start by drying pelts, build some pelt dryers, and start processing raw pelts. Alright, so in the processing or production tab, we have a pelt dryer. And I'm going to build 3 of them right there. And then here, this person is butchering the boar that we had killed. Alright, the other thing it wants me to do is to build a hunter's hut. I'm going to build a hunter's hut over yonder. I think there's more of a chance for there to be wild game over this way, because I see more boar there, so I'm assuming that this will be a decent spot for them to be. Cheers. And here's our pelt dryers. Now on the pelt dryers, I'm going to have these be a high priority, and I'm just going to click a whole bunch of pelts in the queue. There are better ways to do this later on with higher tech. And now it's asking me to open up the technology tree. Researching of technologies. Research technologies to develop your settlement. To unlock it, you just need to spend a certain amount of resources or reach a certain level of resources extracted over time. So, for stone tools, I need to invest 10 sticks, 10 cobblestone to be able to make tools and to unlock a primitive workshop. For pelt clothing, and this might confuse people, but I'll explain it, I need to immediately invest 4 pelts and have collected 16 over the course of our entire existence. So you are not required to spend 16 pelts on this. It is to have made 16 pelts ever and spend 4. For storages, sticks, cobblestones, pelts, and this unlocks a better storage tent. And for food processing, we don't spend this. This is required statistics again, right? Different than required resources. We just need to have ever acquired 16 raw meat. Got it. And it wants me to unlock these technologies. So the first technology I'm going to do is the stone tools. And that will unlock the primitive workshop. So I'm going to put a primitive workshop. Let's see. I'll just plop it here. All right. And let's put more people in these tents. All right, another thing. Open the annual plans window. So this is this button here. And in the annual plans window, you can select an annual plan for the... So the game is broken up into days, but days are really months. So there's like 12 days in a year, I guess. And what I'm going to do is I want to activate the precise food extraction LAN, which increases the chance of additional food items by 50%, and it spends prosperity to do that. So you gain prosperity by people using better tools, living in better houses, eating better food, working in more complex environments. So you build up prosperity by essentially investing in your community and all of the things your community does. And then you can spend prosperity points for technology and annual plans. So we'll do the precise food extraction and approved. And now for 8 remaining days, which is, you know, it's in July or whatever. For the 8 remaining days, we will have that. All right, next up, open the laws window. Laws are like technology advances. So for instance, if I don't want to have to continually queue up pelts to be, or hides to be turned into pelts, with 390 prosperity, I could unlock continuous crafting, which allows me to do it infinitely. Or if I only want to make a certain amount, with 6,700 prosperity, I could unlock crafting limits, which allows me to then control to say, hey, only make pelts until you hit 100 or 50 or something like that. And it wants me to unlock the claim of empty homes, which allows your settlers to automatically move into homes on their own. But of course, I don't at the moment have the prosperity for that. It costs 40, I have 16, so we're gonna have to wait on that. All right. We're still building the hunter's hut. And I think we're going to get it by end of day. Yep. And I am going to assign 2 settlers, 1, 2, to hunt. And that fulfills the hunting tutorial. Sweet. And they turn in for the night. All right, 2 more people obviously joined, because here they are. Exploring the fog. All the undiscovered areas around you are covered in fog. You can send settlers into uncharted lands to spell the fog and to find locations for new resources and animals. I've already been kind of doing that. So as soon as Alan is done eating, let's have Alan continue to explore the fog. And also, a neighboring tribe gifted resources. So they gave me honey, which is a new food source. So I have a few pieces of honey, which gives a lot more prosperity per use, 8. Every time they eat it, whereas like raw meat is 2, berries are 2, and apples are 2. So honey is a more complex food, and as a result, offers more prosperity points. And now my prosperity points are up into the 62. So let's go to the laws and click Claim of Empty Homes and approve. And once you approve this, it's approved forever. You're done. It's basically a societal bonus that you have enacted, and it will never go away. Which is great. I don't have to like re-spend anything for it. All right, given that we have 2 more people, let's build 2 more huts. And then also employ the 2 new people as hunters. As long as there's things to hunt, and there does seem to be a whole bunch of boar around here, I want to continue hunting for meat. So we are still working on the primitive workshop. The primitive workshop requires 1 more pelt to be able to build it. And as soon as we get some more pelts, which is exactly why I want more hunters, we'll be able to build that primitive workshop. The other thing I could do is like, here we go. These idle settlers, except for you, because you're hurt. Your name is, oh, Halrot. I read that differently. Go hunt that deer manually. Or maybe that one. Sammy and Jabby, thank you for the cheer and the resub. All right, while these guys are idle, let's go ahead and collect more apples from the trees and berries from the southern shore. And Alan is just... Oh, we found some woolly mammoths. Alan is just filling in more of the map for us. I'd like to be able to see everything so I can plan a good city, in other words. And here's the hunters automatically hunting a deer, and they'll butcher it, and that will provide hides for us to build houses with, and also to build the primitive workshop with, etc., etc. Great. And the pelt gatherers are doing their thing. Also, we are very low on sticks and cobblestone, so I'm going to gather these stick heaps near us, and then for cobbles, We might have to go a little bit north for that, but I'll queue those up as well. And where's Alan? Where'd Alan go? I lost my explorer. He's somewhere. Oh, there you are. You thought you were done. You aren't. Cheers. Alright, we also now can unlock food processing, which allows us to dry food. All food spoils, therefore it is important to process food into longer lasting food. You can now cure meat in the food dryer. So, let's go ahead and do that. That is in the production tab, and I am going to create 1, 2, 3, 4 food dry. Oh, there's berries in the way. 4 food dryers. I keep losing Alan as he, like, finishes his job. But whatever, it's end of day. Alright, so all the recent pelts we finished with today should allow us to build the primitive workshop and then some of the extra tents. We also are in September, and we are heading to winter. Winter is a harsh time of year. In winter, settlers can freeze to death if they have no clothes. You can also gather food. You can't gather food in the winter, so you must stock up. Yes. Alright, I think this is Alan again? Yes. Hey, Alan, you are my explorer. You're alphabetically first, maybe. And I'm going to have the primitive workshop here be the highest priority, so that it builds before the tents. Does the ponds live through there's a whole bunch of population turnover. One of the reasons why I'm not, like, raffling off the villagers is they will die from wars, old age, potentially diseases, or poisonings. So there's not much. You don't invest in individuals, you invest in society. Alright, here we go. Primitive workshop. I'm going to employ someone there. And then, the primitive workshop wants us to produce 8 stone knives. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then 4 stone spears. Stone knives increase the work speed for gathering resources or producing certain items. Anything that has a knife icon. So, and then spears are for hunting, damage, kills, etc. Is that Alan? Yeah. Yo, Alan, I want you down here. So we've explored most of the north. Found some more wolves, lots of forests. Glorious. We have 12 hides, I can see that up there, or pelts rather, allowing us to expand our houses and tools and potentially clothing soon. And we've got this lovely meandering river to our south. Fertile Crescent, if you will. Alright, let's research pelt clothing. It requires a... Oh, let's read this first. Resource durability. Absolutely all resources have their durability. Food spoils, tools and clothes break when used for a long time. Keep this in mind. So, let's unlock both pelt clothing and storages once I have one more pelt. So pelt clothing allows us to make clothing, and that's absolutely instrumental in surviving winters. Because obviously without pelt clothing, you're going to really struggle to stay warm, and your colonists will freeze to death. And that's not so good. Neighboring tribe gave us 5 more pelt clothing. So that'll keep us covered, no pun, or pun actually intended, until we get the pelt clothing tech built and unlocked. And the Tailor's Hut wants us to produce 20 pelt clothing. That's the goal for clothing production. Where's Alan? I like picking on Alan. Oh, your name is Albo? Allen and Elbow. Where's Radar? Maybe someone over here is Hot Lips? Are you Alan? Oh, yeah, you're Alan. What? That's hilarious. Alan was already, like, kind of exploring on his own. Okay, we wrapped up the southern charting. So you're asking about the knives? Yeah, this is, it does produce 2 knives apiece. So I'm essentially making 16 knives, but trust me, we'll use them. So I'm going to queue them up like that anyway. Where it'd be 1 spear, but this would be 2 knives. But knives are the most used tool by far, early on. Eventually that might change to, like, hoes and pickaxes and axes and stuff like that. But for now, knives, knives, and knives. Alright. We have mostly searched everything now. So we're working on the tailor's hut. This is requiring sticks, so the branch heaps here over yonder, I'm just going to prioritize to high. Because we have 0 branches or sticks in our stockpile, and that's what's holding us up. Alright, I am being warned there's not enough space in my stockpiles to store everything. Which is a really good way to lose stuff to rot, so we're going to want to remedy that soon. I probably don't want to invest any more in the basic resource stockpiles, though. So let's research storages. Storages are better. The better the storage, the slower the resources will deteriorate. So we are going to want to invest in them. So right next to the tailor's hut, I am going to put a storage. What is blocking here? Oh, the heap. Once we collect the heap, I'll put a storage for, like, clothing and pelts. Warehouse capacity. Warehouses have a limited capacity. Don't forget to build new ones to manage resources more efficiently. And we just got gifted even more clothing. Perfect. So we need sticks for the tailor. So this is going to be the highest priority to gather the branch heaps. So we can build that. And some of that is because we are using a whole bunch of sticks to make tools. Stone tools, and then eventually spears. So that's where all our sticks are going, plus the actual construction of the food dryers. So here we go. Dried fruits. So this takes an apple, processes it, dries it, gathers it, and then makes a dried fruit, which doubles the prosperity and consumption. So it goes from 2 to 4. Same with the other dried fruits for berries, from 2 to 4, and meat from 2 to 4. Settlers are freezing. Yeah, I am working to get the tailor's hut up. And we've got 5 days of food, so I'm going to continue collecting food, because I know that the winter is coming. And, it'd be wise to be prepared for it. Alan, I pick on you yet again. Time to go exploring. So you can see, Vavina over here has, like, the cold icon. I'm assuming she's the only one in the group without clothing. Yes, indeed. And her health will slowly drop. If I could, or maybe it's Pier. Pier's health will slowly drop over time as a result of being too cold. Oh, we got a pond over here. Armin, thank you for the sub. Welcome. Actually, it's all pond. I don't know, that could be a river, but this is, that'd be a neat place to start building with, like, a natural moat, but whatever. I don't need to do it that way. Alright, so here's the food dryer. This is also going to be for meats. And then this one will be for dried fruit of the other type. Here we go, tailor. So now, 1 pelt equals 2 clothes. If it wants me to make 20 clothes, a queue of 10 will make 20 clothing. And the tailor hut is going. Now, as you can see here, the tailor hut has an upgrade, which can only be upgraded when I have flax. That is the requirement. And then the other thing I wanted to do over here, and maybe I'll build it like this. A storage tent, and a storage tent. Where do I put the storage tent? 2 more storage tents. And these storage tents are going to store the things we, like pelts and clothing and tools and stuff. And due to our law of claim of empty homes, anytime we build a hut, they automatically get claimed by someone. So at the moment, we have 3 homeless, 8 living places, soon to be 9, and then 5 of them are unemployed laborers. Winter time. Time to freeze our butts off. Thank you for tuning in to Humanica, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow tribesmen.